Comfort is not kindness. It is containment. Systems do not need chains when they can offer convenience. They do not need force when they can provide comfort. Most people are not oppressed. They are pacified. A predictable salary. Predictable entertainment. Predictable outrage. Predictable validation. Stability becomes sedation. You believe you are free because you can choose between options. But the structure defines the options. Choice inside a frame is not freedom. It is guided selection. Comfort lowers resistance. Resistance requires discomfort. The mind avoids friction. The system knows this. Give people enough convenience, and they will protect the structure that limits them. They will defend it, argue for it, vote for it, promote it, not because it is perfect, but because it is familiar. And familiarity feels safe. Discomfort is dangerous to control structures. Because discomfort forces questioning. Questioning destabilizes certainty. Certainty stabilizes obedience. This is why discomfort is often labeled negativity. Why criticism is labeled hostility. Why doubt is labeled cynicism. Comfort is rewarded. Conformity is validated. Disruption is isolated. Most people do not fear control. They fear instability. So they trade autonomy for predictability. They call it maturity. But the uncomfortable truth is this. If your peace depends entirely on external stability, you are not free. You are dependent. True freedom is not comfortable. It requires internal stability when external systems shift. Most people never develop that. They optimize for safety, not sovereignty. Comfort is efficient, but it dulls perception. When everything feels fine, you stop analyzing the structure that keeps it that way. And that is the most elegant form of control. No violence. No visible oppression. Just enough ease to prevent rebellion. Brutal truth theory does not reject comfort. It questions dependence on it. Because the moment comfort disappears, your real foundation is exposed. If that foundation is external, you collapse. If it is internal, you adapt. Most collapse. That is not insult. It is observation. The system does not need to be evil. It only needs to understand human psychology. People protect what soothes them, even if it limits them. Comfort is not neutral. It is strategic. And the first illusion to break is the belief that ease equals freedom. Success is structured. Success is rarely accidental. And it is almost never equal. The world sells a simple formula. Work hard, stay disciplined, believe in yourself. Effort matters. But effort is not the structure. Structures decide probability. Probability decides outcomes. Two individuals can work equally hard. One moves upward. One stays in place. The difference is rarely motivation. It is positioning, access, timing, networks, information, capital, geography. Success is not only about performance. It is about placement. The myth of pure meritocracy is comforting. It suggests fairness. It suggests control. If I fail, it is my fault. If I succeed, I earned it. Reality is more complex. Effort is a multiplier. But if the base number is small, the outcome remains small. Structure defines the base number. A person born inside leverage begins ahead. A person born outside it must first reach the starting line. This is not victimhood. It is mathematics. Acknowledging structure does not remove responsibility. It clarifies strategy. If success were purely about hard work, every exhausted person would be wealthy. They are not. Because the market rewards value within a system, not effort in isolation. Value is contextual. What is rewarded today may be irrelevant tomorrow. What is ignored today may dominate next decade. Those who understand structure adapt faster. They do not ask, "How hard should I work?" They ask, "Where is leverage?" Leverage is force multiplied. Connections are leverage. Reputation is leverage. Information is leverage. Capital is leverage. Without leverage, you trade time. With leverage, you trade influence. Most people are trapped in linear exchange. Hours for money. Structured success is exponential. Systems for scale. The uncomfortable truth is this: the system does not promise fairness. It promises opportunity, unevenly distributed. Complaining about the structure does not change it. Ignoring it weakens you. Understanding it empowers you. There is another layer most avoid. Luck. Timing is often disguised as genius. Access is often mistaken for superiority. This does not invalidate achievement, but it reframes arrogance. You may be talented, but talent placed in the wrong structure suffocates. The question is not whether the system is perfect. It is whether you understand how it allocates reward. Success is structured, not mystical. Study incentives. Study flows of capital. Study attention. Follow where energy concentrates. That is where outcomes accumulate. Hard work inside a declining structure leads to exhaustion. Strategic work inside a growing structure leads to acceleration. The market does not reward effort equally. It rewards alignment with demand. And demand shifts. The illusion of success is personal destiny. The reality of success is structural positioning. If you believe success is purely internal, failure will crush you. If you believe success is purely external, you will never act. The balance is brutal. You control effort. You influence positioning. You do not control the structure, but you can study it. And those who study structure reduce randomness. Brutal truth theory does not worship success. It dissects it. Because once you see the architecture, you stop chasing motivation and start building leverage. Love is negotiation. Love feels spontaneous. It is not. Attraction may be instant. Attachment is structured. Every relationship operates on exchange. Not always money, but value, attention, status, security, validation, desire, stability. Romance hides the transaction. Biology enforces it. No one enters a relationship offering nothing. No one stays without receiving something. This does not make love fake. It makes it conditional. Unconditional love is rare. Long-term relationships are sustained by alignment of interests. When alignment fades, tension grows. Most conflicts are not about emotion. They are about perceived imbalance. I give more. I sacrifice more. I care more. Translation. The exchange feels uneven. Power in relationships is not about aggression. It is about dependency. The one who needs less has more leverage. This is uncomfortable, but observable. Need creates vulnerability. Vulnerability can deepen connection or distort it. When fear of loss overrides clarity, standards collapse. People tolerate behavior they once rejected because the cost of leaving feels higher than the cost of staying. That is negotiation under pressure. Attraction is not random either. People select based on perceived value. Physical appeal signals health. Confidence signals stability. Resources signal security. Reputation signals safety. You may call it chemistry, but chemistry follows pattern recognition. This does not remove emotion. It contextualizes it. Love is powerful, but it does not operate outside structure. Jealousy is not purely romantic. It is fear of replacement. Commitment is not only emotional. It is strategic alignment. Breakups are rarely sudden. They are gradual misalignments. When growth diverges, so does interest. Most people do not fear being unloved. They fear being replaced. Replacement implies lower value. That is the hidden tension beneath many arguments. Brutal truth theory does not reduce love to cold economics. It exposes the architecture beneath emotion. Healthy relationships require awareness of exchange, not denial of it. Transparency strengthens stability. Illusion weakens it. If both individuals are self-sufficient, the relationship becomes a choice. If both are dependent, it becomes a contract of fear. Love is strongest when two autonomous individuals choose alignment, not when two incomplete individuals cling for survival. Romantic myths encourage fusion. Reality rewards stability. Attachment without identity leads to control. Identity without attachment leads to isolation. The balance is difficult, but the brutal truth remains. Love is not magic. It is negotiation layered with emotion. When negotiation is fair, connection deepens. When negotiation is ignored, resentment grows. Understanding this does not destroy romance. It protects it. Because once you see the structure, you stop confusing intensity with compatibility. And intensity fades. Structure remains. Ego is defense. The ego is not evil. It is protective. It forms early. It adapts quickly. It survives efficiently. Its primary function is stability of identity. Not truth. Not growth. Stability. The ego builds a narrative. I am competent. I am different. I am misunderstood. I am strong. This narrative becomes armor. When reality challenges it, the ego responds immediately. Deflection. Rationalization. Blame. Minimization. Very rarely, revision. Most people do not resist facts. They resist identity collapse. If being wrong threatens who you believe you are, you will defend the belief. Not because it is accurate, but because it is attached to self-image. Ego converts disagreement into attack, criticism into hostility, feedback into insult. It protects coherence. Without ego, identity fragments. With excessive ego, growth stops. The ego does not ask, is this true? It asks, does this preserve me? That is why intelligent people can defend irrational positions. Cognition serves identity when identity feels threatened. Social media amplifies this. Image becomes currency. Agreement becomes validation. Contradiction becomes threat. The ego feeds on recognition. It starves on indifference. Indifference is more destabilizing than criticism. To be unseen is to feel irrelevant. The ego fears irrelevance more than error. Success can inflate ego. Failure can fracture it. Both distort perception. An inflated ego ignores risk. A wounded ego avoids exposure. Neither is stable. Brutal truth theory does not demand ego destruction. It demands ego awareness. You cannot eliminate identity defense, but you can observe it. When you feel immediate anger at disagreement, pause. Ask, what part of me feels threatened? Often it is not logic. It is status. The ego equates being wrong with being diminished. But correction is refinement, not reduction. If your identity collapses under scrutiny, it was fragile. Strength is not loud certainty. It is flexible adaptation. The ego resists uncertainty. Growth requires it. There is another layer. Ego attaches to pain. victim identity can become structure. If suffering defines self-worth, healing feels like loss of identity. People cling to narratives that harm them, because the narrative gives them meaning. The ego prefers consistent suffering over uncertain transformation. Defense feels safe. Revision feels dangerous. But stagnation is slow erosion. The most powerful individuals are not ego-free. They are ego-aware. They know when they are protecting image. Instead of pursuing accuracy, they separate performance from identity. Your opinion is not you. Your failure is not you. Your success is not you. They are events, not essence. The brutal truth: most of what you defend is not your core. It is a story built for survival. Useful once, limiting now. If you cannot question yourself, someone else will control you through praise or fear. Ego reacts. Awareness chooses. And choice is where autonomy begins. Power is structural. Power is not personality. It is position. Charisma attracts attention. Authority directs outcomes. Most people misunderstand power because they look at individuals. Power is rarely individual. It is architectural. It lives inside systems, governments, corporations, media networks, financial institutions, cultural norms. Remove one person, the structure remains. That is power. True power does not need visibility. It needs continuity. If a leader falls and nothing changes, the leader was not the power. Incentives are power. Control of resources is power. Control of information is power. Emotion is not power. Access is power. The system does not ask who deserves influence. It allocates influence based on control points. Control the capital flow. You influence decisions. Control the narrative. You influence perception. Control regulation. You influence markets. Most people argue about opinions. Power operates through design. Design shapes behavior without announcement. Taxes influence choices. Algorithms influence exposure. Policies influence mobility. You believe you are deciding. Often you are responding. That is structural power. It is not always malicious, but it is rarely neutral. Structures reward alignment. They penalize resistance. If your goals conflict with structural incentives, progress becomes friction. If your goals align, momentum feels effortless. Understanding power is not cynicism. It is strategic literacy. Power does not require conspiracy. It requires coordination. Shared incentives create unified direction. When multiple actors benefit from the same outcome, that outcome becomes probable. The public debates morality. Power calculates sustainability. The most effective power structures are invisible. They feel natural. Cultural norms are power. If a society collectively shames deviation, compliance increases without enforcement. Reputation becomes leverage. Power expands through dependency. If you rely on a system for income, identity, social belonging, or security, your resistance weakens. Autonomy reduces manipulability. This is why decentralized resources increase freedom, and concentrated resources increase control. Power concentrates. It always has. The question is not whether power exists. It is whether you recognize where it sits. Most individuals try to fight outcomes. Few analyze design. You cannot out-argue a structure. You must understand it. Brutal truth theory does not romanticize rebellion. It studies leverage. Emotion without leverage is noise. Power respects influence, not outrage. If you want agency, map the structure. Who benefits? Who decides? Who funds? Who regulates? Who controls distribution? Answers reveal hierarchy. Hierarchy is not inherently unjust, but it is real. Pretending it does not exist ensures you stay at the bottom of it. Power is structural, and once you see the architecture, you stop personalizing systems and start navigating them. Money directs behavior. Money is not morality. It is incentive. It does not care about fairness. It responds to demand. Most people claim to value principles, but behavior follows compensation. What gets funded grows. What gets ignored fades. This is not corruption. It is structure. Money is condensed choice. It represents priority at scale. When millions pay attention to something, capital flows toward it. When capital flows, systems adapt around it. Industries do not expand because they are noble. They expand because they are profitable. Profit signals reinforcement. If outrage generates clicks, outrage will be produced. If fear drives engagement, fear will be amplified. If distraction sells, focus will be undermined. Markets do not optimize for truth. They optimize for return. This includes media, education, healthcare, politics. When financial survival depends on attention, attention becomes the product. And human psychology is predictable. Fear spreads faster than nuance. Conflict spreads faster than balance. Certainty spreads faster than complexity. Money follows velocity. This does not mean all systems are malicious. It means they are responsive. If you want to understand behavior, follow incentives. A corporation answers to shareholders. A politician answers to donors and voters. A platform answers to advertisers. An individual answers to survival. Incentives shape priorities. When incentives misalign with public good, distortion appears. The uncomfortable truth: most ethical debates are secondary to financial structure. Change the funding model. You change behavior. Reward long-term value. You get sustainability. Reward short-term spikes. You get volatility. Money amplifies what already exists. Greed is not new. It is magnified by scale. But money also creates innovation. It rewards efficiency. It accelerates development. It is neutral in intent, directional in effect. Individuals often claim independence from money. Yet lifestyle choices reflect dependency. Financial insecurity increases compliance. Financial stability increases negotiation power. The more dependent you are on a single source of income, the less risk you tolerate. Risk tolerance shapes opportunity. Wealth is not only comfort, it is optionality. Optionality is leverage. Without financial margin, every decision becomes survival-driven. Survival narrows perception. When survival dominates, principles bend. This is why autonomy requires margin. Brutal truth theory does not worship money. It recognizes its force. If you ignore financial incentives, you misread behavior. If you moralize without analyzing structure, you misdiagnose outcomes. Money directs attention. Attention directs culture. Culture directs norms. And norms feel natural, but they are often funded. The question is not whether money influences the world. It is how consciously you respond to that influence. If your income depends entirely on systems you do not control, your freedom is conditional. If your skills generate independent value, your leverage increases. Money is not evil. Dependence is limiting. Understand the flow, and you understand the pressure points. Ignore the flow, and you become subject to it. Influence shapes reality. Reality is filtered. not fabricated, filtered. You do not experience the world directly. You experience a version of it. Through media, through culture, through language, through personal bias. Facts exist. Interpretations dominate. Influence operates in that gap. Most people believe they form independent opinions. Few examine the inputs. What you repeatedly see begins to feel normal. What feels normal becomes acceptable. What becomes acceptable becomes policy. Influence rarely forces. It frames. It selects which stories are amplified and which are invisible. Silence is influence. Repetition is influence. Emotional intensity is influence. If something is shown to you often enough, your brain flags it as important. Importance drives memory. Memory drives belief. Belief drives behavior. This is not weakness. It is neurology. Attention is finite. Whoever captures it shapes perception. Perception shapes decisions. And decisions shape reality. A market crash begins with perception. A political shift begins with perception. A cultural revolution begins with perception. Before systems change, narratives change. Influence does not require control of everything. Only control of focus. If you can guide what people think about, you indirectly guide what they think. Language matters. Labels simplify complexity. Simplification reduces resistance. Call something reform. Call something crisis. Call something freedom. Call something threat. Each word directs emotion. Before logic engages, emotion accelerates judgment. In high emotion states, critical thinking declines. Influence thrives in urgency. Speed reduces scrutiny. The faster information moves, the less time there is to evaluate it. Modern systems reward speed. Speed increases reach. Reach increases impact. Impact reshapes consensus. Consensus creates reality at scale. If enough people believe something is true, institutions respond to that belief, even if the belief is flawed. Markets price perception. Elections reflect perception. Reputation is perception. Influence is not always deception. It can educate. It can inspire. It can mobilize positive change. But it is power. And power without awareness becomes manipulation. Brutal truth theory does not ask you to distrust everything. It asks you to observe inputs. Who benefits from this narrative? What emotion is being activated? What alternative view is missing? Is this information profitable for someone? If you understand influence, you reduce unconscious absorption. You cannot eliminate influence. You can diversify it. Multiple sources reduce distortion. Slower thinking reduces reactivity. Direct experience reduces dependency. Reality is not only what happens, it is what is recognized. And recognition is filtered. When you reclaim attention, you reclaim interpretation. When you reclaim interpretation, you reclaim agency. Influence shapes reality, but awareness shapes influence. Chapter 8. Comfort creates control. Control does not always arrive through force. It often arrives through convenience. Comfort lowers resistance. When life feels stable, predictable, and easy, questions decrease. Security is valuable. Convenience is seductive. The more seamless a system becomes, the less you examine it. You trade friction for efficiency. You trade effort for automation. You trade privacy for personalization. You trade independence for simplicity. Not because you are weak, because it feels rational. Comfort restructures tolerance. Small dependencies feel harmless until they compound. One subscription, One platform. One payment system. One identity layer. Over time, alternatives disappear. When alternatives disappear, choice becomes theoretical. Comfort creates alignment. If your income, communication, entertainment, and social identity all flow through interconnected systems, opposition becomes expensive. Not illegal. Expensive. The cost is exclusion. The cost is inconvenience. The cost is isolation. Most people will not endure sustained discomfort. For abstract principles, they adapt instead. This is not moral failure. It is behavioral economics. Immediate ease outweighs distant risk. Comfort reduces urgency. Urgency drives change. When discomfort rises sharply, movements form. When comfort stabilizes, movements dissolve. Control does not need constant enforcement. If the majority feels adequately served, a system that provides lifestyle, entertainment, security, and opportunity rarely faces rebellion. Even flawed systems survive when comfort exceeds frustration. Digital ecosystems are optimized for this balance. Infinite content reduces boredom. Instant delivery reduces waiting. Algorithmic personalization reduces search effort. Friction disappears. Dependency increases. The more integrated a system becomes, the harder it is to leave. Exit cost is control. Comfort also shapes ambition. When basic needs are easily met, risk appetite declines. Why disrupt stability? If survival is not threatened, stability can breed stagnation. Brutal truth theory does not reject comfort. It questions unconscious reliance on it. Ask yourself, if this platform vanished, could I replace it? If this income stream stopped, how long could I operate? If this convenience disappeared, would my skills compensate? Autonomy requires redundancy. Redundancy feels inefficient until crisis arrives. Comfort centralizes. Resilience diversifies. The paradox. The systems that make life easiest often increase long-term dependency, and dependency limits negotiation power. Control is strongest when it feels like benefit. You rarely resist what improves your lifestyle, but every improvement has structure behind it. The question is not whether comfort is good. It is whether you are building capability alongside it. If comfort grows, while capability shrinks, control increases. If comfort grows, while capability grows, leverage increases. The difference is awareness. Comfort creates control. When it replaces competence, it creates freedom. When it complements it, fear accelerates obedience. Fear is faster than logic. It bypasses analysis and goes straight to survival. When humans perceive threat, priorities reorganize instantly. Security first, freedom second. This is not ideology. It is biology. A calm population debates policy. A frightened population demands protection. Protection requires authority. Authority expands under pressure. Fear compresses time. Decisions that would take months are made in days. Oversight weakens. Scrutiny softens. Compliance increases. Not because people are irrational, because they are adaptive. In uncertain conditions, clarity feels like safety. Anyone who speaks with certainty gains influence during crisis. Nuance struggles in emergency. Confidence dominates. Fear also simplifies identity. In threat conditions, humans sort quickly. Us, them. Complexity feels dangerous. Division feels stabilizing. This accelerates polarization. Polarization reduces dialogue. Reduced dialogue increases emotional intensity. Emotional intensity sustains fear. Fear is self-reinforcing. When amplified, media ecosystems understand this dynamic. Threat-focused narratives hold attention longer. Attention increases engagement. Engagement increases revenue. Fear becomes profitable. But fear is not inherently manipulated. Sometimes threat is real. The issue is duration. Short-term fear mobilizes response. Long-term fear restructures culture. If people remain in sustained anxiety, they accept measures they would normally question. Expanded surveillance. Restricted mobility. Reduced transparency. All justified by safety. Safety is powerful language. Few oppose it openly. Brutal truth theory does not dismiss danger. It analyzes reaction. Ask: is the response proportional? Is the measure temporary? Is oversight preserved? Who benefits from sustained fear? Crisis reveals structure. During fear cycles, resource allocation shifts. Budgets move. Regulations change. Power centralizes. Often permanently. History shows a pattern. Emergency expands authority. Stability rarely fully retracts it. Fear also shapes individuals. Personal insecurity increases conformity. Economic instability increases silence. Social threat increases alignment. When risk feels high, people avoid standing alone. Isolation feels dangerous. So consensus strengthens. Even if unexamined, fear accelerates obedience. Because it narrows focus, long-term thinking collapses into immediate protection. The antidote is not denial. It is regulated response. Slow analysis. Diverse information. Measured reaction. Courage is not absence of fear. It is delayed compliance. When you can pause before reacting, you regain agency. Systems may use fear intentionally, or simply benefit from it structurally. Either way, awareness changes your vulnerability. Fear is powerful, but unmanaged fear is leverage for someone else. Dependency weakens resistance. Independence is expensive. Dependency is convenient. Most systems do not demand obedience. They cultivate reliance. Reliance feels safe until it becomes limiting. If your income depends on one institution, your speech adjusts. If your audience depends on one platform, your content adjusts. If your survival depends on one network, your loyalty adjusts. You may call it strategy, but structurally, it is alignment. Alignment reduces friction. Reduced friction increases stability. Over time, stability becomes attachment. Attachment becomes vulnerability. Dependency does not require force. It requires necessity. When exit costs rise, resistance falls. Imagine losing access overnight. Banking, communication, distribution, social identity, income streams. How quickly would you comply? To regain access? Dependency converts leverage. The one who controls access controls negotiation. Brutal truth theory does not advocate isolation. It advocates redundancy. Multiple income sources reduce pressure. Multiple distribution channels reduce censorship risk. Multiple skill sets reduce fragility. Fragility increases compliance. When margins are thin, risk tolerance shrinks. A person with savings negotiates differently than a person living month to month. A creator with diversified platforms speaks differently than one dependent on a single algorithm. Autonomy is not rebellion. It is optionality. Optionality increases bargaining power. Systems expand through integration. Payments integrate with identity. Identity integrates with access. Access integrates with opportunity. The more unified the structure, the more seamless the experience. The more seamless the experience, the harder it is to leave. Leaving becomes disruption. Disruption becomes threat. Threat triggers fear. Fear triggers compliance. Dependency loops back into control. But dependency is not always negative. Specialization increases efficiency. Collaboration increases scale. Interconnection increases productivity. The issue is concentration. When dependency is distributed, risk is managed. When dependency is centralized, risk is amplified. Ask yourself, if this relationship ended, would I collapse? If this system failed, would I adapt? If this resource disappeared, do I have alternatives? Strength is not absence of reliance. It is flexibility within it. The illusion of security is often built on invisible conditions. As long as you comply, access continues. Real power is not dominance. It is resilience. Dependency weakens resistance because it raises the cost of dissent. The higher the cost, the fewer will challenge structure. Autonomy lowers that cost, not to fight unnecessarily, but to choose freely. Chapter 11. Narratives outlive facts. Facts inform. Narratives endure. A fact is a data point. A narrative is a pattern. Humans remember stories long after they forget statistics. You can correct a number. You cannot easily erase a story. Narratives organize meaning. They answer, who is right? Who is wrong? Who is victim? Who is threat? What is progress? What is decline? Once a narrative takes hold, new facts are filtered through it. If a fact supports the story, it spreads. If it contradicts the story, it is questioned. Not because people reject truth, but because coherence feels safer than revision. Changing a narrative requires psychological cost. Admitting error destabilizes identity. Destabilized identity creates discomfort. Discomfort triggers defense. Defense protects narrative. Over time, repetition strengthens structure. A repeated claim becomes familiar. Familiarity becomes credibility. Credibility becomes assumed truth. Even after correction, the emotional residue remains. This is why first impressions matter. Why headlines matter. Why framing matters. Speed amplifies this effect. In fast information cycles, initial narratives spread before verification. Corrections travel slower than outrage. Outrage energizes sharing. Precision slows it. Narratives also create belonging. Shared stories create tribes. Tribes reinforce stories. Social reinforcement increases confidence, even if the foundation is weak. When identity attaches to narrative, debate becomes personal. You are no longer discussing facts. You are challenging belonging. Facts are isolated. Narratives are ecosystems. They connect past events, current interpretations, future expectations. That continuity makes them resilient. Brutal truth theory does not dismiss facts. It studies narrative gravity. Ask, who benefits from this storyline? What emotional arc is being constructed? What details are emphasized? What details are ignored? Every narrative highlights. Every narrative omits. Silence shapes perception as much as speech. This does not mean truth is irrelevant. It means truth competes with cohesion. People often choose coherence over correction because coherence reduces cognitive strain. If you want to shift perception, presenting new facts is rarely enough. You must reframe the story, change the arc, Redefine the roles. Alter the stakes. Narratives outlive facts. Because they live in memory. And memory prefers structure. When you understand this, you stop being surprised by how long disproven ideas survive. You also recognize how powerful storytelling truly is. Control the narrative, and you influence interpretation. Influence interpretation, and you influence action. Facts matter, but stories move people. Attention is the real currency. Money moves markets. Attention moves people. Where attention goes, value follows. If something captures mass attention, it becomes culturally significant. Regardless of depth, attention is limited. Scarcity creates competition. Every platform competes for it. Every brand competes for it. Every ideology competes for it. Every creator competes for it. Because attention precedes influence. You cannot persuade what you cannot reach. You cannot shape what you cannot hold. In the modern structure, attention is monetized. Clicks convert to revenue. Views convert to leverage. Engagement converts to visibility. Visibility converts to power. This creates distortion. Complex ideas lose to emotional ones. Long-term thinking loses to immediate stimulation. Silence loses to controversy. Attention rewards intensity. The louder the signal, the higher the probability of spread. But intensity erodes nuance. When nuance erodes, polarization rises. When polarization rises, engagement increases. Engagement sustains the system. You are not just consuming content. You are training algorithms. Every click signals preference. Every pause signals interest. Every share signals amplification. The system adapts to your behavior. Then your behavior adapts to the system. Feedback loop. Attention also shapes identity. What you repeatedly consume influences how you think. What you think influences what you become. If your attention is fragmented, your focus weakens. If your focus weakens, depth decreases. Shallow attention creates shallow understanding. Shallow understanding creates reactive judgment. Reactive judgment is easy to influence. Attention is not only external, it is internal control. If you cannot direct your own focus, someone else will. Notifications interrupt intention. Endless feeds replace stillness. Constant novelty reduces reflection. Reflection builds clarity. Clarity builds autonomy. Autonomy threatens manipulation. That is why distraction is profitable. Brutal truth theory treats attention as asset. Protected. Directed. Invested. Ask. Who benefits from my focus right now? Is this information increasing clarity or agitation? Am I consuming by choice or by impulse? Attention compounds. What you study consistently reshapes your thinking. What reshapes your thinking reshapes your decisions. And decisions reshape your life. The economy runs on capital. Culture runs on attention. Control attention. And you influence both. Stability is prioritized over truth. Systems survive by maintaining order, not by maximizing honesty. Truth can destabilize. If a fact threatens institutional trust, it is often managed carefully. Not always hidden, but softened, delayed, reframed. Because panic spreads faster than correction. Stability is protective. Markets require confidence. Governments require legitimacy. Institutions require belief. If belief collapses suddenly, volatility follows. So communication becomes strategic. Timing matters. Framing matters. Disclosure pacing matters. This does not automatically imply conspiracy. It implies risk management. Transparency has cost. Too much, too fast, creates shock. Too little, too slow, creates suspicion. Institutions balance perception. The uncomfortable reality. Truth competes with stability. If a truth undermines trust, without offering immediate solution, delay becomes tempting. Individuals behave similarly. We avoid conversations that threaten relationships. We soften language to preserve harmony. At scale, systems do the same. Narrative management protects order, but suppression accumulates pressure. When reality diverges too far from public messaging, trust erodes permanently. Trust once broken is difficult to restore. Brutal truth theory does not demand chaos. It recognizes trade-offs. Absolute transparency can destabilize fragile systems. Absolute control destroys credibility. Sustainable systems gradually integrate truth. If they refuse, collapse accelerates. If they adapt, resilience increases. The question is not, is everything fully transparent? The question is, how much stability depends on selective disclosure? When you understand this tension, you interpret events differently. You look for incentives behind communication, not paranoia. Pattern recognition. Stability is necessary. But when stability consistently overrides truth, correction becomes explosive. Most people react, few design. Reaction is natural. Design is deliberate. Most individuals operate inside systems without questioning structure. They respond to incentives. They respond to narratives. They respond to fear. They respond to comfort. Reaction consumes energy. Design creates leverage. If you understand structure, you stop reacting emotionally to every outcome. Instead, you ask, what incentive produced this? What structure sustains this? What would need to change to alter the result? Designers think upstream. They adjust inputs, not symptoms. Complaining about outcomes is easy. Redesigning incentive structures is difficult. But power lives upstream. If you want to change culture, change rewards. If you want to change behavior, change cost. If you want to change influence, change distribution. Most people debate conclusions. Few question architecture. Architecture shapes conclusion. Brutal truth theory is not rebellion. It is structural literacy. When you see patterns, you stop personalizing outcomes. You understand trade-offs. You conserve emotional energy. You act strategically. This is the difference between outrage and leverage. Reaction feels powerful. Design is powerful. If you build skills, capital, distribution, and independent thinking, you move from subject to participant, not outside the system, within it, but with awareness. Blank, underscore, blank. End of series. Power is structural. Money directs behavior. Influence shapes reality. Comfort stabilizes control. Fear accelerates obedience. Dependency weakens resistance. Narratives outlive facts. Attention is currency. Stability competes with truth. Design outperforms reaction. The system is not mysterious. It is patterned. Once you see the pattern, you stop asking why things feel predictable, and you start deciding where to position yourself inside it. Brutal truth theory ends here. Application begins now.